time for Tales Around the Teapot. Just for you. I'd like to introduce you to a lady now who, have you ever heard of Mrs. Malapoop? Yeah. Malapoopisms, you know, when people get everything wrong. So many things wrong. Well, I do it. But this lady has just had a shower. I'll find her hat now. Hold on. Here we are. This is Mrs. Malapoop. Mrs. Malapoop. Oh, my word. Does it go with the earrings? Right then. Mrs. Malapoop, written and narrated by Diana Parsons. I have just had a letter, and I am extraterrestrial. I don't get many these days. My poor dead Fred always sent those emails out to people with a ping on his compendium, but I could never get the hang of it. That's why I'm so glad to have a piece of paper in my hand to read with my morning coffee and custard slice. My friend Denny makes the best iced slices. That's what we call them. Now, where were we? I've opened the envelope, and my word, it's a very long missile. I've found my glasses at last on the top of my head, and I'm ready to go. There's a big sign in the left-hand corner, and it says, "Do not ignore this notice." So it must be very important. I'm feeling quite special now. So I sit up straight and realise I have to give this my full dimension. Oh, dear Mrs. Malapoop, that's me. We have issued parking charge notice PCN 3967421 to your vehicle. And would you believe it? They have a really nice picture of my shiny blue car with the number plate magnetised, back and front, as though I didn't know what it was already. And look, I can see Herbie the love heart cushion on the back shelf. Bless. He goes everywhere with me since Fred blew off this quarter-mile. I read on to discover they think I owe them £100. I checked to see the name of the poor dab who sent this to me, to discover he's forgotten to sign it. Easy mistake. I do it all the time. Well, I'm going to have to advise him of his misformentation of the circumference surrounding his missile. So I spring into action. Well, my body can't, not a chance. But my mental sublimity is still very springy, even after all these years. I take my time to carefully divest the rest of the print on the sheet before me. Oh, it's a lot to take in. A bit over my head, but it does sound a bit urgent, so I decide I will find dead Fred's machine and have a go at one of those pingy emails instead of writing a letter. He told me they fly through the air and land in the compendium of the person you want to contact in the wink of a blinky eye. And that's just what I want, because his poor wee pet needs to know he will not be getting a sausage out of me. The very thought. £100. He must be Perusianal in the real sense of the word to even think about it. But even though I really give it my all, I can't get on with Fred's compendium and all this new-fandangled technic biology. Then I remember that Fred told told me you could write a letter and fan it across the intersect. Oh, that should be much easier. So that's what I decide I will do. Dear Mr. Car Park in Charge Notice Man with no name, I have received your conflagration. Thank you for being so kind as to send me a massive photo of my car registration number. It will come in very handy for showing to the policeman when I get stopped on my way to the supermarket and I can't get the words out. I need to explain that you're under a misdepression. You see, it was like this. I used the card they gave me from the bank to pay for this parking fee on that new machination you've put there instead of the lovely old slotty coin thingamajig it used to be. I have been inserting my 2 £1 coins in there every Tuesday morning at 11 a.m. to give me 2 hours to spend in the coffee shop over the island with my friend. All booty tickers, they say. We've been meeting like this for over 30 years. Come to think about it, you must have made a fortune out of me. But I don't mind. I just think you've got a fad greedy asking for so much this time round. Anyway, you've got more chance of walking on water than getting £100 from an old biddy like me. Now here's a thought. If your camera got such a nice photo of my model of transformation, you must have got one of me talking to your new machine. Just to give you a bit of a help, I'm about 5'3", depending on whether I'm standing up or bending down to stick my card in the slotty thing. I have grey hair on account of my age and the cost of Swatchcop these days. I was wearing clothes which you'll probably be grateful for. Pink trousers with a fashionable turn-back muff on the bottom of the leg and a blue swingy top straight from the cat's block those models walk about on. I was very nice to the machine at being a newcomer to the area and explained I didn't have a clue what I was doing and it would have to be patient. So I swapped the swappy thing that came on the screen, and Bob's your uncle or Fanny's your aunt in my case, all done and busted. Lovely coffee again and home for a rest. Hasn't it been hot? Love it most of the time, except when it plays my corona arterial disruption up. You know, heart trouble, that makes me fall down in a heap on the floor sometimes. Of course, I should apologise if your camera caught my rear end. It has been expended because of all the cakes I put away during the crackdown a few years ago. I do just know you are going to be on my side because you've probably got an old granny like me somewhere struggling with all the changes in this stratosphere. I am wondering now if you would like me to send your missile back to you. It could be very useful, chopped up into wee squares. You could thread through a string to hang in your loo. If there's another run on toilet rolls, that will no doubt matriculise if we go into a third wash of this world pandemonium. Going to fan this over the introspect for you straight away. Yours really, Mrs. Malapoop.